Can you make soft, fluffy cinnamon rolls without dairy or butter? I'm here to tell you absolutely, and I'm going to show you how. Hello and welcome to Jackson's Job, where I pretend I have a baking show. Let's look at our ingredients. For the dough, we want 2 cups of flour. I weigh that out to be 300 grams. 2/3 cup of water, 160 milliliters. 3 tablespoons of oil, 45 milliliters. 2 tablespoons of sugar, 25 grams. 1 teaspoon of yeast, 3 grams. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 2.5 grams. For the filling, I'm going to use 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 75 grams. 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil spread or vegetable shortening, that's 28 grams. You want 1 tablespoon of flour, that's 9 grams. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 grams. For the glaze, you're going to need 1 cup of powdered sugar, that's 125 grams. 1 to 3 tablespoons of water, 15 to 45 milliliters. And 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla is optional, that's about 1.25 milliliters. Now if you want to make more glaze, that's completely fine. Sometimes I double it and make these really ooey and gooey. So let's get started to making the recipe. Okay, now that we got the measurements out of the way, here is our bowl of flour. You can use all-purpose or plain flour. I prefer that because they make them softer. Then I'm going to add in that sugar, and the sugar is there to help with 2 things, browning and moistness, and just a little bit of flavor. Well, that's 3 things, isn't it? Oh well. Then we're going to add in the salt, and the salt helps balance out that sweetness, puts structure to the bread, and then gives a little bit of flavor enhancement. And then we're going to use instant dry yeast. Now you can use active dry yeast, but you're going to have to follow the manufacturer's directions to do so. And that usually includes blooming the yeast ahead of time in warm water. But if you're using dry yeast or fast-acting dry yeast, you put it directly into the dry ingredients. Then we're going to add in our oil. If you want to cut down the oil amount, that's perfectly fine. Just swap it out with equal amounts of water. But I do recommend at least 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of oil, because if you don't, then they're going to be a little bit on the tough side and they're not going to be as tender. So the oil is necessary. The oil replaces the fat in the butter and in the milk. Next, we're going to pour in our water. If you want to speed the process up a little bit, you can warm up the water ahead of time. Just get it lukewarm. Don't get it too warm where it's hot to the touch, or it can kill off your yeast. Once you have this all added together, you're going to take the handle of a spoon and you're going to mix it together until it becomes a shaggy clump. Now if you want to, you can use a stand mixer. Just pour it all in at once, turn on your mixer to the appropriate speed, and knead it for 10 to 12 minutes or until it stretches easily without tearing. However, we're making this by hand, so we now have a big lump of dough that we have mixed together. We're going to turn it onto a clean work surface and we're going to start to knead it. Notice that this dough is quite shaggy and it tears apart really easily, and it's sticking to my hands quite a bit. Resist the urge to add flour right now. Let's go ahead and try to knead this, and we're going to do that by pushing the dough away from us, folding it back on itself, and pushing it away from us again. You can alternate hands, or you can just use one hand, and you'll learn your own method. It's very therapeutic, and it's going to stick to your hands a lot in the beginning. Please bear with me and give it a good 5 minutes of kneading before you are tempted to add in an e-flour. If after 5 minutes of kneading it's sticking to your hands way too much, feel free to start adding in a little bit of flour, a tablespoon at a time every few minutes. Don't go overboard because you don't want tough cinnamon rolls. But if you can't work with the dough as it is, go ahead and add just a little bit of flour till you get to where you can comfortably work with it. It is going to stick to your hands a little bit throughout the whole process, so don't let that be your only guide. Go by the feel of the dough. If it's just sticking to your counter and to your hands way too much and you feel like you can't work with it, that's when you're going to add in that extra tablespoon, 9 grams of flour or so. And then give it a little bit of time of kneading that flour in, letting all that moisture absorb that flour before you add too much in. Again, you don't want brick cinnamon rolls. Here I am 5 minutes later, and look how clean my hands look. I didn't add any flour whatsoever. The dough is now really sturdy. I can stretch it pretty easy, and I can get it pretty thin and see my fingertips underneath it, and it is not tearing. This is where you want to be. If it's not at this stage, if it's still way too sticky, feel free to go ahead and add some more flour and continue kneading until you get to this process. When you're new to kneading bread by hand, it can take quite a while. It can take up to 20 minutes, so don't worry. Regardless of the time it takes you to get to this stage, you are going to now cover it and you're going to let it rest until it at least doubles in size. And this can depend on the weather in your house. Fast forwarding a couple hours, we now need a pan to put these in. I'm using an 8-inch square cake pan, and that is 20 centimeters, I believe. I have sprayed it lightly with nonstick cooking spray, and you could use cooking oil or vegetable oil spread, or even the vegetable shortening. But remember, these are dairy-free, so don't use butter. Set that aside, and then we're going to go and make our filling. Remember, the filling's pretty simple. We've got some brown sugar, we've got our cinnamon, and we've got some flour. The flour just helps everything stick together, and it doesn't just all melt into the bottom of the pan. You're going to stir this up together until you don't see any lumps in that mixture. Now, remember, when it comes to the cinnamon, do not be tempted to add too much. You can add 1.5 times the amount, but I wouldn't add twice the amount because cinnamon is naturally bitter, and the more cinnamon you put in there, that bitterness will come through, and people who are really sensitive to that taste will taste it, trust me. Now we're going to get out that dough that has risen double in size. When it comes to dough, there's always a sticky side and a not so sticky side. Feel the part that's not so sticky and try to put that onto your clean work surface. That'll make rolling it out and patting it out a lot easier. And see all this dough that's left into the bowl? Try to scrape that out. You don't want to waste anything. When it comes to making cinnamon rolls, it's good to start out with a rectangular shape so you're not going to roll this into this haphazard shape and then try to fix it along the way. Now, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can do this all by hand, and a lot of times I'm too lazy to get out the rolling pin and I do these by hand. And you would just pat it out until you got a 9 by 13 inch rectangle. That's about 23 by 33 centimeters, I believe. If you are finding the dough is sticking too much to your rolling pin, your hands, or the counter, go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of flour on there. Try to do it as sparingly as possible. Again, you don't want to add flour when you don't need to because it does make the bread taste tougher if you add too much. I debated about taking this out entirely, but as you know, I have promised to keep in all mistakes, and this will happen to you on occasion. You're going to get a bubble in your dough. And see how I am trying to get this bubble to work its way out? It's not happening. At this point, this is where you start over. And as I'm pulling it up, I'm noticing it sticking to my counter, so I'm going to sprinkle down a little bit of flour. And then I'm going to gather up this dough, and I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle down a little bit more flour because now I'm knowing it's going to give me fits, and I'm going to start over and make a new rectangle shape. Sometimes it's better to start over than to try to fight what is not going right. Now that I'm starting over, I'm going to just go up and I'm going to go down and then I'm going to go side to side. And as you see, the dough is springing back on me, and that is perfectly normal for dough to do. Go ahead and let it relax on its own. Pick it up occasionally, give it a turn. Let it just kind of simmer around. And you're just going to keep just shaping it with your hands on the edges as you roll it out to keep that rectangular shape. Pick it up, flip it around, check the measurements if you want a few times, and just keep fapping around with it until you get the shape you want. Again, I'm going 9 by 13, that's 23 by 33 centimeters, but you can go bigger or smaller as you learn how to make these. I personally like this thickness too. Cinnamon roll filling. It's all what you like though. Once we got this to the measurement we like, we are now going to take that vegetable oil spread and we're going to spread it onto our dough. You may find that you don't need the full 2 tablespoons. I normally don't, but I know some people really like the taste of it. And when it comes to vegetable oil spread, make sure you like the taste of it. If you don't like the taste of it, you're not going to like your cinnamon rolls. You can also use the margarines or the plant-based butters that don't have dairy snuck into them. Look for things like whey because that is a dairy ingredient. Now when I spread out the vegetable oil spread, I like to leave about 1/2 inch, 2.5 centimeters to an inch at the bottom, 5 centimeters, free of anything. That just helps me roll it up at the end. Once you have that done, you're just going to sprinkle the cinnamon sugar mixture on top in an even layer as possible, and then you are ready to roll this up. And I like to take the edge furthest away from me, the 9-inch or 23 centimeter side. And I start out really slowly and I fold it down, and then I just gently roll it up as I go along. And I try to do it as evenly as possible And I try not to roll it too tight, but I'm going to show you what happens if you roll it too tight. And if it starts sticking to my hands, I like to dip them in some flour, and that just helps me roll them up better. Now, as you are rolling it up, it might want to stick out on the sides. You can take your hands and kind of pat it inward, and that will help. Now, you have a decision to make here. Some people will tell you to cut off the ends of your cinnamon rolls, and other people will not. I am the camp that I don't waste anything. However, those two ends will not be as pretty and will not have as much filling. So I'm going to let you decide this right now. Then you have to cut these. And I recommend you use either dental floss or a serrated knife and not a sharp knife. The sharp knife will just squish it. Now the interesting thing is when you go to roll up a cinnamon roll, it's always going to be longer than what you started out with. I don't know if you can tell, but it is now closer to 11 inches than 9 inches, which is about 27 or 28 centimeters, not 23 centimeters. So you're wanting to take that into consideration when you cut these. You're going to have to do a little bit of math with your ruler or just eyeball it. And to be honest, I do a little bit of both. I kind of try to get a gauge, but I always end up having these a little bit thinner or thicker than they should be. But these are homemade. These are not going to go out to a bakery to be sold, and people aren't going to be judging them. They're just going to be eating them and going, yum, I want the big one, or ooh, I'm not very hungry, I want the smaller one. If you're going to use the serrated knife, you're going to use a sawing motion and go back and forth until you get a really nice cut. If you're going to use the dental floss, you need to scoot it underneath the bottom of the dough, then you're going to crisscross it, and then you're going to pull really tight. And when you pull really tight, it'll cut through the dough for you, and it should keep its shape really nicely. Let me show you how to do that again. It takes a little bit of practice learning how to do it, but once you got it going, you're going to do really well. Regardless of how you cut these, you want to arrange these into your baking pan as even as possible. Now you see this one that has the tail facing outward? I recommend trying to face the tails toward the center. That way, as it grows, if it wants to unfurl, the other cinnamon rolls will kind of hold it in place, and it will become more of a pull apart roll instead of having this little tail that falls apart on the edge. Now I recommend using that plastic wrap from earlier, covering it and letting it rise until it's at least double in size. This can take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. It typically takes about 45 minutes for me on a cool day. When they are close to double in size, I like to then preheat my oven. And I'm going to use 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius, but you can also bake them at 375 or 190 degrees Celsius if you like them a little more brown, which I do. Regardless of which temperature you use, you're going to pull off that plastic wrap and you're going to bake them for 18 to 22 minutes or until they are brown on the edges. Now, Emma, this is specifically for you because I know you kind of like them on the borderline underdone side of life. So I recommend you go to 350 and you start checking these at 15 minutes. When you stick a thermometer in the very center, it should reach 190 degrees Fahrenheit, or that's 88 degrees Celsius for you guys overseas. That will make them a safe temperature to eat, but they'll also give you that nice ooey gooey look that you're looking for. They're not going to be as brown, so keep that in mind, and I'm going to show you those later on in the video so you can see the difference between the two. Let these sit a good 10 minutes, and then you are going to make your powdered sugar frosting. To make the powdered sugar frosting, it's very simple. I like to use a measuring cup because then you can just kind of pour it on top. You don't have to use vanilla. It just helps add a little depth of flavor. If you don't have vanilla, skip it out altogether. Now, because these are dairy-free, we're going to use water as opposed to milk. You want to put in a little bit of water at a time and then start mixing it up. Resist adding all the water in at once because doing so will cause you to have lumps in your powdered sugar. If you add it in a little bit at a time, you get to have a very smooth topping, and also you can gauge how thick or thin you want it. It's a little bit tough to stir it initially, but it's going to be worth it because you're not going to have any lumps and it'll be a nice smooth frosting on top. Just take your time here and fuss around with it, and hopefully you'll get it done before your incredibly energetic dog wakes up. Thankfully, she is napping pretty nicely in this video, and she's just being an adorable background figure. So you're going to mix this until it becomes more fluid, and be really careful when it starts to loosen up, because you can have it be nice thick paste like this to go into a runny mess really quickly, and I'm talking within just a half a teaspoon or 1.25 milliliters. What I like to do is put something underneath the cinnamon rolls onto the work surface, and that way I can clean it up a lot easier. I'm using a piece of wax paper. You can use whatever you have on hand. A cutting board is great because then you don't have to throw away anything and you can reuse it. And then I just kind of drizzle it on top or spread it on top, whatever I'm feeling like doing. I have found if you put this in a piping bag, you can get some really cute, intricate drizzle marks. But I'm too lazy to do that, so I'm just going to use a plastic spoon and just kind of smear it on and see what happens. Say hello to Raymond, everybody. These are so soft and delicious, and they are full of cinnamon flavor. Now, I will tell you, because of the oil, the exterior of them are a little bit more crunchy initially, but they do soften up as they sit. Let's see what our taste testers think. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I find it hilarious watching them. These are not ideal for dogs, but a lot of the dog treats out there today do have sugar in them, and these ingredients are safe for most dogs. But as my disclaimer always happens, ask your veterinarian first before feeding anything like this to your dog. Now let's do some troubleshooting. As you see, if you have these too tightly rolled, they can pop up during the rising process. This also can happen if your vegetable oil spread is very low in fat. This will not affect the flavor whatsoever, but it will affect the appearance. You can combat this by putting them simply in a larger pan or not rolling them so tight. Now this happens when your vegetable oil spread is very low in fat and they compensate by adding more liquid to the ingredients. What happens is it creates steam and it just pops them up out of place and causes them to go wonky all over the place. What can you do about this? Well, nothing at this point. You've already made them. But in the future, try to find a vegetable oil spread that has at least 50% fat. I wanted to show you what happens if you put the glaze on way too early. I got these straight out of the oven and I decided I'm just going to put the glaze on and let you see exactly what happens. See how it's already starting to slide off of the cinnamon rolls and pull onto the counter. And in the middle, I'm going to make sure that they go inside those crevices because I really want you to see why you need to wait that 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm opening up one of those cinnamon rolls and see how it's sticky all over to my hand already. Now that's not an undesirable trait on its own, but as I start to unroll it, look at how gluey this is and how goopy and sticky. And if you notice, even the filling is kind of lost. So as you can see, there are some troubleshooting, there are some limitations to this recipe, but overall it's still a very great ooey gooey cinnamon roll, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.